This video will show you the process for replacing the starter motor in your Champion open frame inverter. Your unit may look slightly different depending on your wattage and model. Make sure your engine is completely cool and disconnect the battery and spark plug cap before beginning. Step 1. Unclip and remove the air cleaner cover. Then remove the metal plate and use a 10mm socket to remove the two nuts holding on the air cleaner. Then disconnect the vent line and breather tube from the air cleaner and remove the bolt on the back of the air cleaner with an 8mm socket to fully remove the air cleaner housing and gasket. Step 2. Use a pair of pliers to disconnect the gasoline fuel line. Then use a Phillips head screwdriver to loosen the hose clamp on the propane fuel line and disconnect the propane fuel line. Cut any zip ties to allow some slack, then slide the carburetor off the studs and move it out of the way. Step 3. You may want to loosen some hose clamps to gain easier access to the engine. Then use an 8mm socket to remove the 3 bolts holding on the recoil housing. Locate the 5 bolts around the sides of the engine shroud and remove them using an 8mm socket. You may need to use a socket extension to reach all 5 bolts. Then locate the rubber air guide tube above the engine and pry it off of the tabs that are holding it in place. As you disconnect the rest of the air guide tube, you can fully remove the engine shroud. Step 4. The starter motor is above the top right corner of the engine. Use a 10mm socket to remove the 2 bolts holding it on. Then on the opposite side of the unit, cut the zip tie holding together the group of wires behind the panel, beneath the starter motor, and then loosen the wire clip to gain better access to the starter motor. Step 5. Pull back the red boot and use a 10mm socket to remove the nut and washers, and disconnect the wire lead. Then locate the blue wire connector leading from the starter and disconnect it to remove the old starter motor from the unit. Step 6. Set the new starter motor loosely into place and reconnect the blue wire connector. Then replace the washers and wire connector and secure the nut with a 10mm socket and cover with the red boot. Step 7. Align the bolt holes on the opposite side of the unit. Replace the 2 bolts through the engine housing and starter motor and tighten with a 10mm socket. If you have a spare zip tie, you can re-secure the group of wires behind the panel. To reassemble your unit, set the engine shroud back in place and replace and tighten all 5 bolts around the sides with a 10mm socket, and make sure to include the wire clip on the top left bolt. Stretch the air guide tube to fit it securely back in place over the tabs. Then replace the recoil and tighten the 3 bolts with an 8mm socket. Slide the carburetor back onto the studs, replace both fuel lines and secure with the hose clamps, and refasten any wire clips that were undone. Replace the gasket in the correct orientation and set the air cleaner housing back in place. Use a 10mm socket to replace the 2 nuts on the inside, replace the breather tube and vent line, and use an 8mm socket to tighten the bolt on the backside. Set the metal plate back in place, replace and fasten the air cleaner cover, and lastly, reconnect the battery and replace the spark plug cap. Your starter motor replacement is complete. Always follow the safety, operation, and maintenance instructions in your operator's manual, and for more help guides, visit the Champion Help Center at help.championpowerequipment.com.